let's get straight into, I think, the topic that I know Gary wants to talk about the most, and the one that is seemingly, in my opinion, getting more of a buzz in the boxing sphere, which is the Jermall Charlo news, or contract offer that's being sent his way. So let's break that down, Gary. Even though that was at the Mike Garcia press conference, let's break down the Garcia Vargas fight after this, because I think this is a bigger topic. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I interviewed Eddie Hearn. Check it out on our YouTube page. And per Eddie Hearn, Matchroom has sent Jermall Charlo a quote similar offer financially to Mike Garcia's. That's quote a one fight deal on DAZN for the Demetrius Andrade fight. Said he would let Andrade go to PBC if they match the offer. He, though, does not believe they're going to match the offer. Gary, I mean, thoughts on this? Jermall Charlo is one of the guys. I mean, he's
a man's. He's on the wall.
I'll be honest. Like, he was your Figueroa before Figueroa.
Yeah, and then he didn't have he had some down performances, so it was hard to keep talking to him. I went from thinking that he was going to be the guy to beat Canelo to thinking that fight's a little bit, I don't want to say silly, because they're still top 5 middleweights, but I mean, he ain't going to win that fight. Let's be real. It is what it is.
Hey, it's your turn to talk, Gary, not mine.
I mean, they offered Mikey $7 million. If they offered him $7 million, then you have to take it. I don't know what you have with Al or PBC, but if they're offering you $7 million and all the about roughly, if they're offering you half that, you got to take it. Or if they're offering you 7, you got to buy yourself out of your contract. I mean, whatever.
I don't think that's even an issue, to be honest.
You have to make that, Matt. $7 million for a fight that it's a legacy fight, it's a unification fight, and then it makes a Canelo fight, which is how much do you think he's gonna get for Canelo fight?
And in a weird way, even though both guys won their belts off of vacancy, in a way, obviously Charlo's more elevated than winning it in a vacant fight. Andrade won it in a vacant fight because of the Billy Joe Saunders situation. Him beating Andrade would legitimize his title reign.
Right.
I've said that, I think, before as well on the show, that neither guy is a legitimate champion at this point in time. Let's just be honest about it. They are a champion in name, but for respective circumstances, we don't view them as a legitimate champion at 160. We don't. We view Canelo as the king of the division that's off doing his other thing in other divisions, but still the king of the division, let's be honest. And then we have like Triple G surviving by just pure determination and wit, surviving against Derevchenko. And then you have, obviously, guys like Charlo and Andrade, 2 junior middleweights who have moved up and are sort of trying to gain legitimacy at 160. Fighting each other would do that. Plus be a unification, technically speaking, even though, again, the whole franchise champion is all that issue. I'm of the mindset here that like there's no issues to make this fight. Like, honestly speaking. And there's no one else on the table. I know Triple G is the guy that both guys probably want because Canelo's doing other things, right? But even Eddie said in my interview, again, check it out, like, Triple G doesn't want Andrade. They've tried to make that fight, and he says, I have failed as a promoter. Like, I can't give Andrade the biggest fights in-house. I can't do that. They don't want to fight him. Like, he said that. So you have to go across the aisle and reach out to a guy that's also struggling to get fights in Jermall Charlo. And as you said, Gary, if that money is being offered, either have PBC, Fox, or Showtime match it, or go to DAZN and take the one-off fight and collect a belt. Right? I mean, that's what I would do. And I would still pick Charlo to beat Andrade at this point, even though Andrade, I think, is definitely still, slowly improving in my mind as a boxer, but he's still a guy that has flaws. And while Charlo's flaws are there, I think that he is more of a complete package. I mean, how does Charlo not take this fight? He has to, in my opinion. I agree with you, Gary. I agree with you.
So there's 2 things, right? If they're offering anywhere near that $7 million mark, he has to take it for a number of reasons. A, because this will be the biggest purse of his career, obviously, and B, because he just did 250,000 live viewers. That's a terrible number. So I don't understand why Eddie Hearn thinks Andrade, who's not a draw, and Charlo, who just put up a number like that, somehow warrants that big of a purse, right? If he gives Charlo $7 million, what's he have to give Andrade? He's got to give him the same thing, no?
You know, Eddie said something to the effect that, paraphrasing, of course, but that like the DAZN's wanting the big nights, so to speak. And he said like the A level guys versus the D level guys has to stop.
Agreed.
And then obviously that's when I asked him, well, you have Andrade fighting Luke Keeler and Triple G fighting Zemarata. They're in-house guys. Why is that fight not happening? Aside that point and that fight not happening, I think a Charlo Andrade fight could be built up properly into a decent boxing night. You know, have a good gate revenue, have a good attendance. Whether it's on Fox, Showtime, or DAZN, produce a healthy enough viewership to make the corporate overlords happy. Let's be honest. You know, and I just think Charlo's last fight had no buzz. There was no interest behind it. I think a Charlo Andrade fight would have a natural boxing interest and hype behind it. Like, we as hardcores would get behind that in ways we just don't get behind Andrade Keeler. Or Charlo versus who did he last fight? Why am I drawing a blank here?
Andrade fought nobody.
No, not Andrade. Sorry, Charlo.
Oh, Hulk Hogan.
Thank you. The fight that happened like 2 weekends ago. I already forgot about it. Think about that. So this would be a fight that we support, and we didn't support those two other fights.
No, it would have fan support.
But briefly, it's not making the money back. It's just not. And DAZN knows that. Everyone knows that. They're happy with that.
At a certain point, you have to make profit, right? That's how companies stay in business. If you keep putting out losers, you lose money. And a corporation only exists on two pieces of paper. One that says revenues and one that says expenses. When expenses are more than revenues, you don't have a business anymore. Like, so at a certain point, like, there's no way you could ever make your money back on that. There's no way you could ever make your money back on Canelo or Triple G. At a certain point, the insanity's got to stop. I know they have a ton of money behind them, but rich people don't like to lose money. Outside of like George Steinbrenner and the Yankees, he was fine losing all the money in the world as long as the Yankees won the World Series. Outside of him, billionaires don't like to lose money. That's how they become billionaires. They're obsessed with making money, right? Normal people don't become billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Only people who are absolutely obsessed with making money become billionaires, right?
Yeah.
It's like normal people don't become Kobe Bryant, right? Like Vince Carter had all the money, all the talent in the world. He could have been as good as Kobe Bryant. He didn't have the drive, right? So it's like, it's a special, and you could say it's good or bad. I don't want to have that. Greed is good, whatever. I don't want to have that conversation. But it's a special person that becomes a billionaire, right? Like, not a normal person.
Sociopath.
So, what was that?
Sociopath.
Whatever. He has to have a one-track mind on making money. Think of Kobe Bryant's mentality or Tiger Woods' mentality on their sport is their mentality on making money. So when you keep losing money, we have to stop the bleeding. Even though it's not, I'm not going to be out in the corner with a cup in my hand begging for change. I don't like losing money, and that's got to stop. There's no way you can make your money back at any of these fights. So at a certain point,
Leonard in the chat is saying, what is Gary talking about? There's no way. It's all about subscribers. That's how they make their money back. So, Gary, they're just going to get enough subscribers to make that money back.
Dude, okay, Leonard, I'm not a mathematician. Prove me wrong. How many subscribers do they need to make? Let's say they only give Andre 3 million and they give Charlo 7. So let's use the easy number of 10 million. How many new subscribers do they have to add? And let's say they keep them for 6 months to get $10 million. I don't know the number. It's a lot.
They have what, 800,000 subscribers in the U.S. right now. That's times. I mean, it depends. The economic model is not uniformed. I mean, how many people are on the $20 per month?
True.
How many people are on the yearly plan? It's hard to tell. And to sort of equalize the financials there, I can't. But I would say this: I doubt they're making a lot of money at this point in time, especially in comparison to what they are expending in just terms of pure fighter costs. But I've told you this before, Gary. Like, this is obviously an issue that's industry wide, and you're going to see a recession in the next 3 years. It's going to happen. You're going to see one of the big networks drop out again, whether that be really Showtime, which already kind of did drop out, or another network, whether it's DAZN, ESPN, Fox, whatever it may be. Do not be surprised to see one of the other networks drop out. It will happen. There's no way it can sustain this.
But it will happen. These purses are insane. This is like the craziest. They're gonna give Charlo $7 million. Like,
but what's crazier? Charlo Andrade for $7 million for one of them, and let's say 3 or 4, whatever it is, for the other, or Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas, $7 million and whatever Jesse's making. And I bet Jesse's making a lot.
I would pay Jesse whatever he's been getting, $1 million and change. I'll give him that and not. You're Jesse Vargas. You're in no position to negotiate. Don't worry what I'm paying Mikey. You don't worry about that, Jesse. Okay, you're overpaid as is. Like, let's be real, right? If I'm paying him $100 million, it doesn't matter to you because I'm still overpaying you at $1 million. I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think Jesse Vargas is really in a place where he can negotiate for more money?
Sean in the chat is saying they're trying to build a strong platform, which means they need to put out product. If they're going to show, if they're going to show baseball, football, or basketball, the investments are billions of dollars. My brief response to that, and Gary, I want your response to that, would be baseball, football, and basketball would actually drive for subscribers.
I agree.
Not really Tevin Farmer fights, or Demetrius Andrade fights, or Jake Paul fights, which we're going to get to. I don't think that's really a subscriber gain long term.
No, it's not a long term. The Jake Paul fight is going to bring in subscribers for that month. Canelo fights will bring in subscribers for the month, but I don't know that you're going to keep them. The Canelo fans you might keep. You'll probably keep some of them. But, like, my neighbor has a fight party for every single Canelo fight. They don't watch any other fights. That's it. They only watch Canelo fights. But they have a big party. So they're not keeping it. They're only getting it twice a year. They're getting it in May and September, hypothetically. That's it.
How many baseball, basketball, football games do you think your neighbor watches on a yearly average?
Football, they watch football all Sunday. A lot. You know
what I mean? Like, that's the difference of what we're talking about, people. Like, yes, obviously you need a content base. So you need content. And right now, boxing, relatively speaking, in terms of other sports, is available and cheap. So you're going to get it. However, they are paying so far above market value that they're now paying them on par, if not way over the standard for athlete pay across the board. Like, you look at some of their high-end guys and what they're getting paid, they're meeting all of the league minimum standards of the NBA, NFL, and Major League. They just are. Like, even the mid-card guys are. So
when Danny fought Keith Thurman, that's a bigger fight than Charlo versus Andrade. It's way bigger. They got a guarantee of $2 million each. Now, I know there was more back-end money. They probably walked away with double that. But still, look what we're comparing. And that was only 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. How long ago?
2017.
Okay, so
going on 3 years.
3 years ago, yeah. We went from $2 million per guy in a bigger fight to $7 million guaranteed. I mean, again, they can do it for so long, and they can probably do it for a while. But is DAZN going to keep wanting to do this, knowing they're losing money? I mean, we're talking about a lot between Canelo, Andrade, Mikey, and this fight.
Gary, trust me, we're going to get to a lot of DAZN topics here. So
I wanted to press you on one thing.
Quickly, let's circle back because we're going to talk about, obviously, the Pacquiao Mikey Garcia fight in a bit. So, like, that would be maybe another time to talk about DAZN and how they can survive as a business. But any other thoughts specifically on Jermall Charlo's deal? Not really deal, his offer from Matchroom for a one-fight deal on DAZN for a similar amount as the Mike Garcia offer.
I love it. Like, it's great for my boy. I want Charlo to have these fights. I want Charlo especially to have the Triple G fight, which I think could be next when he beat Andrade, which would be a big money fight and a fight I think he could win. So I think if those two wins, he's right back to where I thought he was. You know, a year ago, a year and a half ago, whenever was the last time he looked good, right? Like those are 2 fights I think he wins, and 2 fights that'll bring attention back to him. And we should do that Andrade fight in Houston.
Ooh, I'm okay with that. Yeah, of course. You know me, I'm always okay with like putting guys where they probably draw the most in terms of gate. But